Yo, what's up, guys? We're back for another UFC breakdown and predictions video. This week it's for UFC Fight Night Marvin Vettori versus Jared Cannonier, UFC Vegas 75. Pretty good card overall, actually. I think it's honestly a better card pound for pound than last week's card, the UFC pay-per-view. So, pretty excited for this one. Kind of did terrible predicting and betting on that last card. So, trying to move forward on this card, make some money. And there's a lot of shows this week, man. There's PFL going on this week, ACA, Bellator, and the Bellator card has a lot of fights, like 16 fights. They got Yoel Romero on there. They got he's taking on Nemkov. They got Pitbull taking on Sergio Pettis. So fun card for Bellator for sure. I definitely would recommend going over the Patreon and getting the bets for everything this week. I already have quite a few bets for this card. I'm going to be looking into all those other cards that I just talked about and betting on those as well. So busy week this week in MMA like always usually, and this fight night card's actually pretty good, so I'm excited to break it down. And besides that, guys, hit the like button, put a comment down below. Let's try to get to 150 likes. Let's try to get some comments. That always helps the channel and always helps get this video out there to more people, and trying to get out there earlier this week, so make sure to hit that like button. Put a comment down below. I'd really appreciate that. But first fight of the night here, Zac Pauga. He's taking on Modestas Bukauskas, and it's going to be in light heavyweight. And this is kind of a low-level fight. Bukauskas, he just made his way back to the UFC. He got cut, went to Cage Warriors. He won the title over there, and then came back and was victorious in his return to the UFC, where he cast as a pretty big underdog against Tyson Pedro. He had to go over there to Australia, beat Pedro in his home country. And now he's trying to build even more momentum and take out Zac Pauga, who's kind of a middling guy who did well on the Ultimate Fighter, made it to the finals. He was up at heavyweight, which he is a little small for that weight class, and obviously he moved down to 205 and ended up getting knocked out in the finals against Muhammad Usman. And then he came down to 205, got a win over Jordan Wright, where he kind of just cage pushed him for the entire fight. And when you look at how these guys match up, Modestas is a lot, longer in terms of how he fights. He only has a 3-inch reach advantage, which isn't massive, but Pauga is definitely more of a guy that wants to get in close, uses boxing, and Modestas is more rangy. He accentuates the reach better. He throws kicks, so I think the reach is going to be a little bit more significant than 3 inches usually is. But Pauga actually has decent boxing. He has good hand speed and does a good job of countering with the right hand. He'll use the jab to get inside, and he's fairly technical with the striking, but he likes a jab to the body, which in MMA is very dangerous. That's what got him knocked out against Muhammad Usman. You're just very susceptible to being countered with that, and he is just pretty basic. He'll sometimes throw some kicks, but not that often, and he can be pot-shotted. He's a little bit hittable. I don't think his chin is the best, so those things are always a little worrisome, especially when you're fighting at a higher weight. And he isn't someone that has the wrestling to bring it to the ground, but what he is good at and what he used in his last fight and basically won the fight off that is just pushing guys against the cage, controlling them there, kneeing them, staying active enough that the ref isn't going to break up the clinch, and just kind of winning the fight that way. He did a good job landing a lot of slick elbows in the clinch against Jordan Wright, and he was able to just control them and pick up the victory. And his cardio is always good. He trains up there in Colorado, always has a gas tank on him. So he has some good elements about him in terms of he's pretty athletic, he has fast hand speed, he's pretty good with the counter right hand, and he has a good jab, and then he can push you against the cage, and he can keep a good pace, but he's not the most durable guy, and pretty basic. He's hittable, and he just doesn't have that ability to kind of change the game plan and do something different if he isn't getting his way. And I don't think he has the best punch resistance, obviously. But Modestas Bukauskas, he's kind of a guy that likes to stick on the outside, move side to side, pot shot you with straight shots, with kicks, and pretty good footwork. He's also an athletic guy that comes in shape for the weight, moves well, and definitely has the faster feet. He's just, I don't know if he has more athleticism than Pauga because both these guys are athletic, but he just moves a lot more in the cage than Pauga does, and he is good at just kind of touching you and moving so you don't really get to set up your big shots. And I think it's going to be a struggle for Zac to get inside. And I think that left hook and leg kicks are going to be there for Modestas. So he just has to be smart and avoid getting pushed against the cage and avoid kind of getting more in a phone booth type of fight because I do think that Pauga has the better hands and will probably be able to land some pretty decent counters. But Modestas, he has good grappling in his own right in terms of anti-grappling. He has good get-ups. He's pretty hard to take down, and he's hard to hold against the cage. And you also utilize the clinch, work knees, and hold you against the fence and win fights that way himself. So I don't necessarily think that either guy is going to be able to be clearly dominant against the cage. So I think that that's going to take away Pauga's one of his ways to victory, and Modestas, I guess, where it's through holding in the clinch against cage. It's going to have to be more of a striking fight. And if it's going to be a striking fight, I just favor Modestas a little more because I think he has more weapons. He's going to be moving more. He's going to be able to pull Pauga into shots. I think he's going to be landing a little bit cleaner, and he's going to be a little bit higher volume. So I'm going to go with Modestas Bukauskas in this one. I think he's going to be able to get the win by decision. I wouldn't be shocked if he gets the knockout in this one. He does have a lot of finishes, but I'm going to go with Modestas Bukauskas to get the job done in this one and win by decision, make it 2 wins in a row in the UFC, and we'll see if he can continue to move up the ladder here.